is that you guys this year in a nutshell in a way?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you talk about the boys growing and playing better as a side. Yeah, I think if you stop the game at 7 minutes 38 into the last quarter, we're 37 points down. Probably to gauge where we're at, that's not far off, I don't reckon. Personnel, I know probably Melbourne weren't at their best. We had, Campbell Brown, two of our leaders, Gary Ablett sitting in the stands as well, which, to us, a young side, we know the more mature fellas. Nathan Cracker's another one. So yeah, you put a line through that. So the rest of the quarter, I didn't spend a lot of time looking at the ground, of course. There wasn't much to look at, but as I said, 37 points down, almost 8 minutes in the last quarter. Probably a fair assessment where we're at.
Is it an improvement on last week overall?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the scoring, as I said, we scored 2 more goals. They went from 18 Bulldogs, to Melbourne kicking 23. So, we leaked a bit, but again, as I said, you take away that sort of 20 minutes of the last quarter. I would have thought it was a step forward. And again, it's because of the little 1%ers of, the third game now together for everyone. When we were clean and we gave first option, the footy was exciting. But when we hesitated a bit and we get caught, our boys are running forward, they're running the other way. And then, no matter, whether the first 4 side, top 8 side, any side on the AFL ladder is going to tear you apart, and certainly Melbourne did that.
Is it a simple case of your younger players just not having pre-seasons in the leagues in that last 20 minutes of game?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Although we probably missed, we gave them some easy goals, certainly in the late in that first quarter when I thought, we jumped probably at the same intensity as Melbourne and looked okay. But then the second half of that quarter, we fell away with missed tackles, poor decisions. Again, probably because their older heads and bodies can maintain a bit more intensity. And then certainly the second quarter, we did likewise. So, I've no doubt. I mean, some of our exciting young kids, again, their third game in, I mean, put another 10 games, 15, 20 games into them. They're going to be able to withstand and maximise their intensity for longer.
Bit of a step forward for Carmichael Hunt today. Perhaps in that third quarter, he managed to get a bit of the football.
Yeah, I mean that's what we've been encouraging. I think defensively, Kay's really good. And as we said to him last year, don't sit back and not try and make a mistake. Not that they say go out and make a mistake, but if he gets the ball and takes the game on, we're going to find out where he's at. And he moved forward with the ball at times, and the more he does it, the better he's going to get. And as I said, the more time he plays defensively with the other back 6 or back 5 fellas, he's only going to improve for sure.
What did you think? Zach Smith just seems to be the pick of your kids at the moment.
Yeah, probably because he's 206 centimetres, so he does stand out. But look, he's won our most professional last 2 years in a row. So I know he's 206, 5th year of football. So he's coming from a long way back. But there's a kid that wants it, wants to be our number 1 ruck. He's got to push Josh aside, and Josh knows that. So I mean, together they're actually working really hard on the track, which is bringing Dan Gorringe along, Tommy Nichols along, Tom Hickey along, all those sort of boys. So that competitiveness is really good, and Zach gets everything out of his body, out of his talent. As I said, it's from a soccer background, not a footy background. Like even last week, as I said to him after the game, I can't coach you into taking those 3 marks. To get to that right spot, he dropped those last week. This week, I reckon he took one of those 3. And hopefully in 5 or 6 rounds' time, he's going to take all 3 of those marks and have 3 shots on goal. So, he's a great kid, and he's going to be a beauty for us.
He was covered in bruises this week. Like they decided to try and bash him, and he goes in harder than Josh Fraser.
Well, I won't say Josh Fraser, but he goes in hard. He's just a competitive person, and as I said, you fear for him sometimes because I know he stands 206 centimetres, but he bends over and scoops down and picks those balls up off the ground like a midfielder should, a small defender should, a small forward should, and you sort of got to turn away because he's actually going to hurt himself. But again, that's what he's like. He's a competitive boy. Blokes have pulled muscles at training trying to get away from him because he just doesn't want to get beaten. And as I said, that he's living the dream at the moment. He's putting every foot forward.
You say that he's a latecomer to footy, and you hear over and over again how big blokes take longer to come on. the new midfielders. He's amazingly advanced for a player of his age and his size.
Yeah, we had a trainer at West Coast. He had a theory on the tall fellas. He said as the taller you get, the air thins out, and so that's why it takes longer for the message to get through. But Zach certainly defies that. He's one fella, and said you tell him once, you don't have to tell him again. And with his competitiveness, his attack on the footy, those things, he's a dream to coach.
How's Code?
I think that's we're trying to get him off with cramp, which we did a few times. Went back out, and yes, due to rules and regulations, he has to go out, and he's now done a hamstring. So although some people would look at the game and think it's great, the sub rule and things like that, well, it's probably cost Cody a 2 or 3 week hamstring now. So. Not good news for him, that's for sure.
So you just had to send him out. There was no.
No, obviously our Dan Gorringe was subbed off, so he was sitting there. But yeah, we had to send him out there, and that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
It's good to see Dave Swallow go forward, kick a goal. Do you want to see do more of that? Spend a bit more time in the forward line like that?
Oh, well, no, not really. I want him around the ball, but again, being a young fella, we've got to manage him through games, got to manage him through the season, so I don't mind him doing that. I'm sure in time, in a very quick time, he'll start kicking goals running out of the midfield. But again, with Gary not out there and some other boys not probably travelling as well, guess who gets sat on? David Swallow gets sat on, so it's a fair a job he has to do for us at such a young age.
Speaking of Gary, just 1 week, definitely play.
Yeah, actually we spoke to him. Marcus Ashcroft said, mate, it's not too late, but if we played tomorrow, it'd be a chance. He said it'd be a big chance, so no, he should be fine next week.
I believe Shane Crawford's the latest in a few people who have had a crack at Gary for allegedly spending too much time in Melbourne. Is that a concern to you at all?
It would be if he's spending some time with Shane Crawford socially. So I don't know where Shane gets that from. So unless he is spending some time with Gary, I'll have to speak to Gary to make sure he backs away from spending too much time with Shane Crawford. So that's Gary's business, not ours, that's for sure, who he spends his time with.
Thanks, guys. On that note.